Hi gang, this Hexy. So I'm going to try this with this camera one more time to see if I've got the settings for this thing down. If not, it'll be back to the high def of the wonderful Samsung Galaxy 8 cell phone. Alright, so we just finished up playing the Easter scenario. Little 5-turn scenario. I guess this is pretty much Rommel's first attempt to try and take Tobruk, which I'm pretty sure he failed. Like I said, I haven't done too much reading. Now, I will say this. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll save that for the end. So, this was a 4-turn scenario, or 5-turn scenario, and there were 4 objective hexes. And the ally, or the Axis, would gain a victory by taking 2 objectives. They would gain a minor victory. And taking all 4 objectives would give them a major victory. Okay, so the objectives, the 4 objectives, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see the Germans actually own 3 of them. All right. Only problem is you had to own all 4 to get a major, and the 2 you needed to own to get a minor was this one and this one. And the British held on to one of the 2. Actually, the Germans actually took that. The Trento Division took it, and then the 20th Australian moved over and knocked him out and took it back. Alright, so here's the interesting thing about this scenario. The Germans were able to block this road over here, which by rule the British support group, which is a formation, was not allowed to come in as reinforcements over here on this road, because the road is blocked to Tobruk. So as long as that road stayed blocked, they couldn't come in. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we're not going to use them, so we need to fight with inside the ring of Tobruk. So these Australian units, let me zoom in here. Let's see. These Australian units, as you can see, let's take these front lines one. See, those guys have an AR of 4. All right. 3, there's a 3 there. Over on the other side up here, there are a couple more that are 4s. And it has this rule. The Brescia division of the Italians, okay, which is sitting over here to the left, they're locked. All the British formations are locked at the start. All right. So the Commonwealth player at the start of a turn has the option to unlock his units. Alright, and if he does, and it's funny because I had to read this 3 or 4 times before I realized to myself, well, this rule has no purpose. That locked rule has no purpose at all, because they're either locked or you unlock them. I didn't see any penalty. Well, the penalty was to the Axis player. If the British unlocks a formation, alright, or all the formations, then the German or the Italian Brescia division gets unlocked. And I realized, excuse me, my goodness. I realized after reading that thing about 4 or 5 times. Fortunately, when I realized what it was, it hadn't changed anything. So I decided, well, you know what? I'm not going to unlock any of them. Now, the Germans, or the Axis, oh, there's an alarm. The Axis, whenever they attack a British formation, that British formation becomes unlocked. All right, but that's involuntary. So I got to reading watching some documentaries or on YouTube about this first attack of Rommel, in the desert here in the Tobruk area, and he actually ended up losing a lot of his leaders lost faith in him right off the bat, because he tried to make a piecemeal attack with elements of the 5th LE and drive straight towards Tobruk. Well, I did not know that until about 3 turns into the game, when I finally went and watched the documentary and realized, you know what, I made the same damn mistake that Rommel made by trying to attack right off the bat. Instead of waiting for Arietti, the Trento division, to get over here and help. Okay? I was smart enough to go cut this road off over here. Alright? So, the 2 armor units, which you can see one is destroyed sitting up here, tried to attack along with their infantry along this line, and the Australians, the 26th Australian, which are these, well, there's one with the purple stripe here, and there's Pioneer over here, and there's their headquarters is, he's actually been moved. And let me move him so y'all can see that. So he had to move. and he was fatigued too. All right. Actually, you can't go there either. I should go back here. Okay, so I decided I'm going to fight with them and with only them, and they did the job. They stuffed 5th LE up here at the outer fort barrier, or one of the fort rings, okay, of Tobruk, the defense rings. They stopped them here and completely checked them, destroyed a panzer battalion or an armor battalion, and reduced another one down to 1 step. Now, of course, they didn't start full anyhow, those armor units, but their pioneers and their infantry from 5th LE did. So they put them in check. Never made great use of the 88s that the 5th LE had attached to them, and their support was only limited anyhow. I did use them early to bombard. I might have got a couple hits, but the problem this one is the British replacements. Man, you roll a 6 in their replacements, and they get 5 AV and 4 infantry, or non-AV. So they were pretty much getting refilled almost to max. Granted, now you can only add 1 step to a unit as a replacement, each replacement phase. But by the time I got through 3 or 4 turns, all the freaking Australian infantry was back to full strength. All right, so eventually Trento came on, Arietta came on to give the 5th LE support, and I never activated Brescia. And on the last turn of the game, Trento busted through on their breaches. They were already breached. They busted through. They took that victory location, and they had one other one. They were able to go down and take another one, and then these 2 here. And then they did. I went to do a second activation. It failed, so this guy didn't get a chance to take that hex. So then I attacked with the Ariete division. The Ariete division went in. They were able to knock out the Australians that were in this hex and take it and chase the headquarters off, and they took that one, and I thought to myself, well, good job by the Germans. And then I looked at the victory conditions, and I realized, shoot, I got to take this thing here. So 5th LE was the one that eventually took this hex. And then with the last unit I had available in 5th LE on a second activation, they tried to take this hex here, and the attack failed, and they took a step loss, and that's where the scenario ended, because there's no more Axis units to activate, and I had chosen to keep all the Allied units locked and not use them for anything. So this ends up being an Allied victory, because the Axis, or the Italians and the DAK, were not able to take at least the first 2 objectives, and then they did take the second 2, but that had no value because they didn't take this one here along with this one. So these are the first 2 have to be taken for a minor victory, and you have to take all 4 for a major victory. Can it be done? Yeah, I think so. Like I say, dice roll, in games, come on, dice rolls, you know how that works. So if you don't get the good dice rolls on the attacks, well, that's the stuff that happens. All right, but this is Brazen Chariots, Battalion Combat Series, Multi-Man Publishing, and this is the Easter scenario. It's the first scenario in the book, 5 turns. And it is an Allied victory. All right, so it's BCS. I'm loving this thing. I don't know if I'm going to move on to the next scenario. I think the next scenario is Operation Brevity. It's Brevity or Battle Axe or something. But they got a bunch of good, I think 3, 4, and 5 turn scenarios you can play in here. And then also, like I said, I've got Kursk set up over there, Gross Deutschland Panzer, which I'm also going to get started on that. All right, so if you got this thing, I'm telling you, these BCS games are, like a lot of MMP series, these are gems. If you got one, you haven't played it because you didn't necessarily like the way the rules read, or you were intimidated by what people say about the rules, I'm telling you, get this thing out, get pieces on the board, learn the rules by having the pieces on the board, and I'm telling you, I think you're going to like this system. I really do, because I know I enjoy the daylights out of it. And I got all 4 of them, so I'm going to try to play all 4 of them. All right, let's get this thing posted so y'all can see what's happened in the desert around Tobruk. Talk to you soon.